Hello everyone, my name is ABA Pickle and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Darktide. Today we are talking about patch notes number 5, which just went live for me a couple of hours ago, and it reads, Rejects, here are the patch notes for patch number 5 that just went live on Steam and will be available shortly on the Microsoft Store. New updates and features, they added a small notification for when the strike team member picks up plasteel or diamantine during gameplay. The chime will play on screen and the message will show up who picked the resource and what it was, which is something that a lot of players had kind of just taken to finding their own workaround, which was just marking it before they picked it up. So you at least knew if you were getting it at the end of the mission, you know, just as a courtesy thing. A lot of people on like when I've been playing on like Heresy or above have been just marking it right as they're picking it up, which I think is really great. That now they don't have to do that because a little tiny notification window will show up, and you'll probably see it somewhere in this footage. The total collected resources during the mission will be visible in the tactical overlay, which on default you can hit the tab key and it'll bring it up to the left right under the name of the mission and so on and so forth. They had a couple of changes to some classes. For Ogryns, the feature payback time. When an enemy damages you, gain 20% damage against enemies of the same type for 5 seconds, has been changed to when an enemy damages you with a melee attack, you gain 20% damage for 5 seconds. So that's a major change. Instead of getting damage reduction from those types of enemies, you're now just doing 20% more damage. So whenever you get hit by melee, so it's encouraging you to really be in the center of the fray, which the Ogryns typically are anyway. They're not exactly the most marksman of fighters, so that's pretty cool. Another change for a feat, Lead the Charge, now also grants stun immunity and suppression immunity to allies for the duration of the buff, which is great. You know, stun immunity and suppression ability, so now you're going to shoot accurately and you won't be able to get knocked on your booty. For the Psyker, the feature Warp Unleashed, the damage increase that you get from that went from 5% to 15%, is now up to 10 to 25%. So it has been increased pretty dramatically. At the lower end, it got doubled. At the lowest, from 5 to 10%, and then at the highest, it gained 10% from 15 to 25%. So that's, you know, damage buff is pretty cool. Probably definitely needed. For the feature Rack and Ruin, increased the stacks of Soul Blades applied as well as the radius. Stacks now went from 2 to 3 that were applied, and the radius goes from 3 to 4 meters. So that little tiny adjustment. They're probably just trying to find a good old sweet spot, which is awesome. For the Preacher, it fixed an issue where Preacher's Until Death passive could activate when at 1 health, even when the Preacher didn't take damage. So that's going to help a lot because those were proccing, and when people needed it, the ability was on cooldown, so that will be incredibly helpful. Once again, very helpful change. And it's still weird that we're so far into the game and now some of the classes are actually going to be acting like they should, and it's not just, you know, why am I dying so often? It has been because some abilities just have not been working. You know, a couple patches ago we had the Ogryn fix where the melee increase was only happening to certain types of melee weapons, and so they obviously have some other things, but it makes me wonder what other abilities aren't working properly right now. So they changed a couple of blessings, mainly the one I want to point out is the Flamer. So they had a blessing for the Flamer called Quick Flame, which increased reload speed gained from the blessing Quick Flame on all tiers. Tier 1 went from 5% to 18%, Tier 2 went from 7.5% to 20%, Tier 3 went from 10% to 22%, and Tier 4 went from 12.5% to 24%, which is overall pretty substantial increase there for the reload blessing, which is great. You know, reload speed's always nice, helps increase damage and DPS. They also put a little dev note saying this change was to bring Quit Flame in line with other blessings. We have our eyes on the Flamer as it might be a little strong, and we are considering some changes in an upcoming patch. So any Flamer lovers, just be aware you are probably going to be getting a nerf soon. At least they're giving us a warning and giving us a little bit more time to enjoy the Flamer as is. So And then other than that, they have a couple of like visual bugs they changed. There was an issue in the last patch that made it impossible to manually turn off revved eviscerators and chain axes. So that has been fixed, which I know for me, I experienced that one quite a few times. It was annoying. And then also for the combat blade, another big one was they fixed the bug where the combat blade, where the push follow-up attack could be canceled by other attacks. So if you ever were getting those canceled, I actually had seen this one happen a couple of times. So I am glad that they got this one fixed. The combat blade feels just that little bit more consistent. Nothing too drastic with this this hotfix though. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. But what are your guys' thoughts on the state of Darktide right now? Since they added that crafting, the game feels a lot better, and they didn't address like a lot of like the mission variety, or you know, they didn't fix the fact that there's barely anything after level 30. But hey, we have that grinding now, so we can actually do something to try and get our perfect builds. It's not exactly what we wanted, maybe, but I think it's a really good change to promote variability for the crafting. And I also really like the changes to hunting grounds that were made. Hunting grounds, if you haven't seen it, got changed. It's no longer just there are more hounds. It's now a bunch of them get sent at you at one point, and I think it's a really good change. It actually is one of my favorite modifiers now, that and lights out or blackout, whichever one turns off the lights, whatever it's called, I forget. But yeah, I think that slowly and steadily though, this game is going in the right direction. I still think that we're missing a few missions that we should have, maybe getting some more abilities, or maybe even more classes, maybe subclasses like Dark or Vermintide had. But at the same time, I don't know if that's the direction they're going to go in this game. But let me know about your thoughts and opinions down below. My name is ABA Pickle. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will have a link to the full patch notes pinned in the comments and also in the description. But like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.